Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the high-stakes strategy of a retail giant that is trying to completely reinvent itself for a whole new generation of shoppers.
So let's just dive right in. This is the question facing so many legacy brands out there. How does a big, familiar family store actually survive in an age of non-stop fast fashion and infinite online options? For one of India's most famous apparel brands, Pantaloons, the answer lies in a really bold comeback plan that could totally redefine their future.
But before we get into their new plan, we've got to understand the core problem they're facing. And really, it's a classic identity crisis. For a long time, they've been kind of stuck in this awkward middle ground.
I mean, just look at these core challenges. They all feed into this one central problem. They're not the absolute cheapest option, so they can't just win on price. But they're not a premium brand either. This leaves them trapped in the middle, having to rely on these huge sales and discounts that just eat away at their profits. And maybe the biggest issue of all, they're really struggling to get younger, trend-focused customers to even walk through the door.
And having an identity crisis is bad enough, but it gets really dangerous when you look at the competition. They're getting squeezed from all sides by these rivals who know exactly who they are and exactly who they're selling to. This slide right here really gets to the heart of it. Just look at Pantaloons, trying to keep its balance right there in the middle. On one side, you've got Zudio, just crushing it with Gen Z thanks to super low prices and lightning fast fashion. And on the other side, you've got e-commerce giants like Myntra, offering endless choice and incredible convenience. Pantaloons is getting squeezed from both ends, stuck trying to be two very different things at once. So, we get the problem. What's the solution? Well, their entire comeback strategy is built around this one central idea that they hope is going to give them a totally unique edge.
They're betting big on a phygital reset. Now, I know it sounds like a corporate buzzword, but stick with me. The idea is actually pretty simple and honestly pretty powerful. Blend the real-world, human experience of shopping in a store with the smart, data-driven convenience of the digital world.
And this isn't just some vague idea. It's a concrete playbook. It all starts with personalization, using data to give you offers that you actually find relevant. Then, they're integrating everything, so your online shopping cart talks to your in-store visit. And what's the end goal? Retention, using all that smart data to build loyalty and keep you coming back.
Okay, so that's the phygital playbook. But what does it actually look like in the real world? Well, it all comes down to three specific, very high-stakes bets they're making to try and turn this whole ship around.
All right, big bet number one. And this one is absolutely crucial. They have got to solve their youth problem. But this is the classic dilemma, right? How do you attract all those Gen Z shoppers who are flocking to your competitors without alienating the loyal family audience that's been your bread and butter for years? And here's their solution. Instead of trying to make the main Pantaloons brand cool for everybody, which, let's be honest, almost never works, they're launching a completely separate sub-brand. This new brand will have its own vibe, its own marketing, and its own identity, all designed from the ground up to capture that younger audience. The second big bet is all about their physical stores. The old model of these huge, discount-driven department stores, well, it's struggling. The new plan is to shift to smaller, much more profitable stores that focus on customer experience and service with product selections that are actually curated for the local neighborhood. And finally, their third bet is a massive push on loyalty. They're realizing it's just smarter business to keep the customers you have than to constantly chase new ones. And the goal here is ambitious, as you can see. They want to drive a full 50%, half of all their revenue from dedicated repeat members of a new loyalty program. The really crucial point here is just how fast they're moving. This is not some 5-year plan. This is happening right now. As this timeline shows, they're already rolling out personalization pilots, launching loyalty programs, and testing out youth collections. This whole strategy is already in motion.
This quote just nails it. It really captures the essence of the entire strategy. It's a two-pronged attack. First, solidify your position as a reliable, go-to destination for families. Then, at the exact same time, run a separate, fast-moving, exciting brand just to capture the youth market. Don't try to be one thing for everyone. Be two distinct things for two distinct audiences.
So, the strategy is clear, the playbook is written, and the bets have been placed. But we all know the biggest risk is always execution. In a retail world that moves at the speed of social media, the final question really is, can they pull off this transformation fast enough to not just catch up, but to actually get ahead of the game?